Hello, I'm Alan, and welcome to today's edition of Alan's Cycling Adventures. Well, today's the day. It's the day of the Twin Lights ride. I've actually ridden in this event a couple of times in the past, but only the 30-mile route. So this is new ground for me, the 100-mile route. I did a map recon the other day, and it looks like it's a fairly flat century, so my training should have prepared me pretty well for it. I'm really looking forward to it. If you enjoy my videos, be sure to give this one a thumbs up. Click the subscribe button to subscribe to my channel. And if you have any questions, comments, suggestions, or ideas for future editions of Alan's Cycling Adventures, be sure to leave them in the comments below. I still have a half an hour before the ride starts, but thanks to the magic of the internet, you don't have to wait. So without further ado, let's ride. Yes, that's right. It's finally the day of the 2022 Twin Lights ride. I was really looking forward to this route. It looked like it was going to be, as centuries go, relatively, dare I say, easy. Although I don't mean to take anything away from anybody who completed the century as their first century. But I had set out this morning to break my standing record of the best elapsed time for a century. My previous record was a little over 8 hours. I want to say like 8 hours and 10 minutes. And so I set out this morning with the goal of completing this century in under 8 hours. Well, I did far better than I could have imagined. I actually completed the century in about 6.5 hours elapsed time. I would attribute my success in part to not stopping at every rest stop and just stopping at every other rest stop just to refill my water. I also rode at a faster pace than I've ridden in the past. And so those two things combined resulted in my 6.5 hour elapsed time. For those of you who like statistics about the ride, I don't have any weather statistics. Unfortunately, I didn't write anything down before the start of this ride. And so suffice it to say that it was absolutely a gorgeous day, as you can see by the clear blue skies. In terms of temperature, I would say at the start it was in the low to mid 60s, and it was probably in the upper 70s by the finish. So not too hot, not too cold. Perfect temperature for riding. The wind wasn't much of a factor. There was, as we were riding along the shore, there was a sea breeze. But aside from that, the wind was fairly light. So weather-wise, I'd say it was a perfect day. In terms of the length of the ride, it actually came out to 99.45 miles. Yes, I know. How did I stop at 99.45? I should have done the last half mile or so. However, with the finish festival right there at the finish line, there was really no place for me to ride once I crossed the finish line. So I ended at 99.45 miles. In terms of elevation, there was a total elevation gain of 2,720 feet on today's ride. Garmin only labeled one climb as a climb, so there was one significant climb on this route, but it didn't come until 94.4 miles into the ride, when you're nice and tired. That particular climb was 1.1 miles in length, with an elevation gain of 177 feet and an average gradient of 3%. The maximum gradient on that climb was probably about 6 or 7%. When you get to that climb in the video, you'll see there's lots of people who were walking up the hill. I'm proud to say that I did not do the walk of shame. I managed to ride up the hill. The average speed, my average moving speed for today's ride was 17.1 miles per hour with a maximum speed of 30.6 miles per hour. My average heart rate was 133 beats per minute with a maximum heart rate of 152 beats per minute. According to Strava, I burned 2,192 calories and had an average power output of 126 watts. In terms of where this ride was, it was down the shore. It was mostly Monmouth, and I think maybe we got into Ocean County, I'm not sure, of New Jersey, by the way. We started out in the Highlands, rode through Seabright, Monmouth Beach, Oceanport, Eatontown, Ocean Township, Wall Township, Lake Como, Belmar, Spring Lake, Seagirt, Manasquan, Brielle, Allenwood, Allaire State Park, Squonkam, Farmingdale, Howell Township, Siloam, Smithburg, Carr's Corner, Freehold Township, Howell Township, Freehold, Colts Neck, Lincroft, Middletown Township, Atlantic Highlands, and finally back to Highlands. If you live in the New Jersey area and are thinking of doing a century next year and you've never done one before, I would say this is a great first century to ride. As I mentioned before, it's relatively flat, and therefore relatively easy as centuries go. Also, shout out to Bike New York. I feel as though they did a fantastic job in setting up and organizing this ride. They had a great festival at the start with lots of breakfast food choices. The food was plentiful and good. The ride itself was well organized. The course was very well marked. And the finish festival was fantastic as well. There was a great band. I'm sorry I don't remember the name of them, but there was a great band at the finish festival that was playing all kinds of music. They also had some food trucks there. I actually partook of one of the choices was from a local seafood restaurant, and they had as one of their choices seafood chili, which I'd never had before. I'd never even heard of before, but it looked good, and so I had that for lunch. I had a large seafood chili, and it was loaded with large chunks of fish, calamari, shrimp. Not sure what else was in there, but it was very, very tasty stuff. In any event, I'm afraid I don't have much to say today, so I'm going to leave you to the video. I hope you enjoy the rest of the ride.
there you have it. And I obliterated my goal. I finished I finished by 2 o'clock. So instead of breaking 8 hours, I think I broke 7 hours. Anyway, I would call that a success. So until next time, stay safe out there.